Hello, this is H1 here, and we got Philip Bighead, or Bonnie. Yeah, and we're watching, finally, top 60 non-gaming creepypastas. So, yeah, it's very long, but maybe we can handle it, or maybe make parts, just like me and Luigi watching other creepypasta video. Like, okay, anyways, let's watch it. Hang on. There. Warning.
This video contains disturbing content, violent content, jump scares, and sudden loud noises. Viewer discretion advised.
Whoa, what happened?
What is that, a worm?
I don't know.
This is on video.
Yeah. What? You already did it already.
She's using the different ones.
Yeah. Whoa.
I never saw this in my life.
Top 22 non-gaming creepypastas. Whoa. Non-gaming. There's gaming that I did by myself, and some of them is with Sonic. Ritual creepypastas. I still need to do that with Tails.
Intro?
Yeah. Lost episodes. Yep, that's me and Luigi is supposed to do.
Wait, Mario supposed to do the last one?
Maybe, yeah. His lost episode, non-gaming, gaming, ritual. Yeah.
This is real.
I don't know. What?
That's what Mario's gonna do, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Stop.
Oh, it spit it out. I know how does a VCRs work.
You just put it in there?
Yeah. Top 60 non-gaming creepypastas. Okay.
Creepypasta. A term
now
that
it's
grew out of the
starting.
4chan terminology copypasta, for copy and paste text that goes viral. These modern-day ghost stories and urban legends often walk that fine line between internet fact and internet lore, and some are downright terrifying.
People around the world share
A
their
house.
and terrifying stories, hoping that the tales will gain popularity and become
Tough the killers that are real.
often quoted or cited by horror fans and frightened netizens.
They're the stuff of nightmares, and we're gonna take a look at the top 60 non-gaming creepypastas.
Hmm. 60. Or maybe we're just gonna stop at the 30.
Yeah,
The
30.
Hangman was a poem written by Maurice Ogden in 1951 and first published in 1954 in Masses and Mainstream magazine.
H1, I'm trying to make it fun of some Mario.
Oh, okay.
Its plot concerns a hangman who arrives in a town and executes the citizens one by one. As each citizen is executed, the others are afraid to object out of fear
like a Grim Reaper.
next.
Maybe, yeah.
Finally, there is nobody remaining in the town except for the hangman and the narrator of the poem. The narrator is then executed by the hangman, as by then there is no one left who will defend him. The poem is usually cited as an indictment of those who stand idly by, while others commit grave evil or injustice, such as during the Holocaust.
What?
It's space.
59.
The bunk bed. The story revolves around a 27-year-old recalling his horrifying memories of when he was a child. The bunk bed that he slept in was bought by his father out of joy when he realized that his wife was
We have a bunk bed.
Well, good thing you're gonna sleep at your room and I'm gonna sleep in my room because you know how to sleep by yourself.
Apparently the same. The brother would growl at him in his malevolent croak about
you know
all
you
the
can
pain
watch
and misery
YouTube
awaiting him
on night.
and the various tortures he had thought up. It was later revealed
Even
that
though
his brother
don't
had
worry
sadly
about the
died
closet.
whilst his mother was giving birth.
We did.
His
We
parents
have a
refused
closet.
to
We
talk
didn't have a
about it.
closet.
Now, as
It's
an
at your
adult,
room,
he explained
but
that he can
it's full.
finally sleep
The
only if he
closet's
takes
full.
pills. Was glad
Yeah.
he didn't have to
The
see
closet
it
can't fit.
because he
Yeah.
was on the top bunk.
58.
Yeah, 58, and give me 57.
Honora Petrova.
Honora
Honora Petrova was born in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
She was one of the most promising figure skaters in the United States until she discovered a sentient Wikipedia page about her. After trying to selfishly alter her fate by editing the page, her life spirals out of control in the most unexpected ways. She first speculated her father or figure skating club had made the Wikipedia page as a way
There
to
she is.
inspire her to win.
Yeah.
When she asked her dad about it flatly, he denied. Strangely, when she would check her Wikipedia page for competitions, it consistently and accurately predicted her subsequent victories at every tournament. She wanted to win a chance
she
at the
died
Olympics so bad
7
that
years
when
ago.
it came time to try out for the sectionals,
In the
she decided
20th
to cheat
century
and influence her
that we're in
Wikipedia
right now.
page. When she tried to update the
And we have
page, instead
technology.
of displaying what she
Yeah.
wanted, it wrote horrible statements.
We got
Honora
touchable
was
glass
banned from the
screens.
competition for
Work
attempting
with
to
fingers.
sabotage the other
But I
team's
don't have
skates,
fingers.
which she
These are just
denied.
plush
It
fingers.
began to become clear that the Wikipedia page
I only have
predictions were coming
two
true.
fingers, see?
It should be noted that the administration at Wikipedia was not aware of this page, and it is
Where's the
speculated
beep
that only
coming from?
Honora had
I don't know.
access to it, or she fabricated the story. The page continued to have horrible descriptions of her, from one tragedy after another. It said her parents ended up in a terrible accident, and she would be penniless. When Honora tried to contact her parents after reading that particular page entry, she heard nothing but laughter at the other end. When she eventually viewed
Which one?
call records from her parents' phones, it did not
Huh?
show the calls
Where
she tried
you
to make to them.
I just want to go
Honora
pee.
became very despondent and reclusive. She eventually received a settlement for her parents' death and moved to Switzerland. While in Europe, she abandoned her habit of checking the page and started to become a success in her craft again. Unfortunately, before an audition for the ice circus, she relapsed into her old habit of checking the page to see possible results. It read that she would die friendless and penniless on the day before the audition, and the predictions came true.
57.
Where bad kids go. This story describes a photographer who decides to find out more
Where's
about an
bad
old
kid
children's
go?
show that he used to watch as a child in wartime Lebanon. From what he remembers, the show relied on very graphic imagery and scare tactics to
going on?
keep kids from misbehaving. He believes that the show was an attempt by the media to keep children in check, as the moral of every episode revolved around some sort of strict ideology, such as
It's one of those
bad kids
things.
stay up late and bad kids steal food from the fridge at night. You may think that's very mundane.
Food at night?
One thing that the photographer remembered, the most at least, was the closing scene of every single episode. It was the same thing every time, actually. the camera would slowly zoom towards a old rusted door.
Hmm.
And as it got closer, screams of some kind could be heard. The closer the camera got to the door, the louder and clearer the screams would get. When the screaming couldn't get any worse, an Arabic text read, "That's where bad kids go," signifying the end of the episode.
What?
Fast forwarding to the present, somehow the photographer managed to track down the studio
ISIS?
where the old show was
I
filmed.
didn't know ISIS was
Although
a
the place
creepypasta.
looks like it had been abandoned for quite a long time, the infamous rusted door from his childhood was still there. He then discovered beyond the door lay a small room which was covered in traces of blood, feces, and bones. And what scared him the most is that beyond all that, in the middle of the room, was a caged microphone which hung from the roof.
Ah! Whoa, it kind of scared me. Okay.
Molly the Dolly.
Molly the Dolly.
A 12-year-old
So this is like Annabelle.
And her 10-year-old
That's
sister,
a horror
Abby,
movie.
And her mother had just moved
Oh,
into
yeah.
a new house. It was new and big, just like they had wanted. They just needed to get some basic everyday household belongings from the store. Alicia's
It's
mother
gonna be
had
creepy as
spotted
they'll
something in
move.
the bargain bin of the shop.
Uh-huh.
It was a doll called Molly the Dolly, as described on the label. To the mother, the doll looked beautiful. Alicia thought it looked creepy, and Abby thought it looked funny.
What?
Molly the Dolly was described as wearing an orange,
Okay.
pinkish dress that was ripped at the sleeves and neckline. It had large black eyes that looked like it was staring at nothing. The mother paid for the doll, and when they arrived home, she placed it on the mantelpiece.
Dang, these
That
winds.
night,
There though.
Alicia heard some childish laughter, singing.
Molly's jumping out the mantelpiece and Molly's gonna kill you.
Alicia thought it was just Abby playing a prank, but a few minutes later, she heard it again.
Molly's walking across the living room and Molly's gonna kill you.
Alicia tried shouting for her mother, but there was no answer.
Molly's coming up the stairs and Molly's gonna kill you.
Alicia thought it was actually Molly the Dolly, considering Abby and her mother were not answering.
Molly's walking across the hall, Molly's gonna kill you.
Petrified, Alicia climbed out of bed and could see the shadow underneath the door.
Molly's walking across the room and Molly's almost here.
The door to Alicia's room opened, and she was paralyzed with fear and could not move.
That's right there.
I think so.
That morning, the mother came to wake Alicia up, but she wasn't there. There was no sign of her. Nothing. Alicia's mom went down into the living room, running, but only saw Molly, right where she was placed yesterday, and another doll that looked exactly like Alicia.
55.
Molly the Dolly. That's kind of
The
funny
angel
name.
statue.
The angel
A
statue.
report in 1996 revolved around an incident when a couple decided to go out for the night. They
Oh,
called up their usual
those
babysitter
are
to come
those
and take care
things
of the
like the
kids.
movie Look
The
Back.
babysitter arrived. The children were
Oh, it's
already
like
asleep, so she decided that she could pass
it's
the time by
a
watching some
natural
TV.
thing. Like
However,
if you
the
look
only
this way
TV
and they'll
that had
move, if you
cable
look back, they
was
won't.
situated inside the parents' bedroom. So she called them to see if
I
it would
think
be
we
all right
watch. I
with
think
them.
it's gonna move.
The parents agreed, but then the babysitter asked if she could cover up the angel
It's gonna
statue
be in
which
the
was
dark.
situated in the room,
It's gonna be
as
in
it
the
made her
dark.
feel pretty nervous.
And
Upon hearing this, the father instructed her to immediately get the kids out of the house and call the police, because they did not own an angel statue. At this point, it was unclear whether the babysitter and children did manage to escape the house, as several variations of this story exist.
He cried
54.
voice.
Antron. Antron is a robotic humanoid that was witnessed and reported in 1972. It was found by a father at a garbage dump. When he brought it home, it became self-aware and woke up. The family named it Antron, and adopted the robot as part of the family. For a while, Antron acted in a normal manner
what the
and showed
heck?
no signs of
Who put this
malfunctioning
line
or
on my
changes. 4 months later, it eventually perceived the scolding as a threat and ran away from the house.
That's good.
Antron was later witnessed stalking the family from windows and doors until one day the father's son had gone missing. Antron was never seen or heard from again, and the son was never found. All that had remained was Antron's favorite toy
Did you
car.
saw that?
Yeah.
53.
I think what goes up to Journey, right?
Eyeless Jack.
Eyeless Jack.
Eyeless
We know
Jack
about
had been
him.
reported as a strange humanoid figure wearing a black hoodie and a blue mask with black holes for eyes. Eyeless Jack had been found to attack victims.
He's just a very old
sometimes even
creepypasta.
murdering victims without drawing attention.
Like we kind of know a bunch. Like there's Sonic.exe, Ben Drown, Eyeless Jack, Jeff the Killer,
It's Mario Dog.
and
he was placed in intensive care at the hospital and was later told the following day
Slender, I think, yeah.
even though no staff had operated on him.
And
From the hospital the following night, he reported
yeah, no,
the
there's a
creature
bunch of
being
them.
over his bed.
Yeah.
The victim said he had tried to get up and take a picture of the creature
You
with
mean
the camera when
you
it
forgot
lunged
Mr.
out
Right
at his
now.
chest. In a
Yeah.
desperate struggle, he managed to
Even
escape and run
that
out of the
ghost
house
from
but had tripped over
Pokemon.
a rock, becoming
Oh, the
unconscious.
ghost
He had
Pokemon.
woken up in
Yep.
a hospital room and the doctors informed him that his brother was murdered, but he could not identify what had done it. The report says that when he returned home, he found his friend's body on the floor of the upstairs bedroom, with the kidney next to him.
52.
Tiki Toby.
Tiki Toby of.
Toby grew up with several
we
mental
know him.
disorders during his childhood, making it difficult for him to fit in with normal people.
That.
He was constantly bullied by his classmates for his tics, and was ultimately deemed unsuitable for a public school surrounding, so he switched to homeschooling. Although he had plenty of support from his mother and older sister Lyra, his father lost himself to alcohol, drugs, and gambling, and started abusing his family. When Toby was 17, he and his sister were involved in a tragic car accident, resulting in Lyra's death. Toby's symptoms began to worsen because of this. He lost his appetite for food, and slowly began to lose his memories, and was less social than before. The Slender Man started to repeatedly stalk Toby afterwards in an attempt to turn him into a proxy by slowly giving him strange visual and auditory hallucinations. Toby eventually gives in to the voices in his head and violently murders his father. In a desperate attempt to escape the police, he sets his neighborhood on fire as a distraction, but was quickly surrounded by the flames. He was about to give in to his inevitable death when the Slender Man saved him as he was about to black out. When Toby woke up, all of his memories of the past were taken by the Slender Man as he became a local proxy.
51. Let's see what's this. Maybe another old creepypasta.
The Wyoming Incident.
Nope.
The Wyoming Incident was a television signal hijacking that occurred on October 1992. A hacker managed to take over a local station.
Hey, guess what? I know who's the new creepypasta meme.
It was reported as being extremely disturbing and
Donald
included
Trump.
black and white, disembodied heads, and various poses. The video would also be interrupted by random messages.
It looks like that guy from the Sega Saturn trailer.
What hides your mind?
Commercial.
Police reports reveal that many of the victims had suffered headaches, paranoia, hallucinations,
You are ill.
and nausea
We just
from
want to
watching
trick
the
you.
broadcast.
Tree.
The FBI found that the audio in the video was played at a frequency between 17 and 19 hertz. The Wyoming incident did not make national headlines, and it was heavily regulated by the government. The hijacked station received numerous calls from viewers who wondered what was occurring
we have
for the
already
duration of
seen
the
it.
station being targeted. All phone call conversations that were recorded have been seized
You
by officials.
can lose
Neither
everything.
the hijacker nor any known accomplices have ever been found.
Nothing is
caught, or
priceless.
identified, which which leaves the incident unsolved.
Ooh. 50.
Look at this old showing that funny face.
I don't know.
Annie 96 is typing. On October 23rd, 2004,
I think I heard it just from YouTube, from Creepypasta Jr. and Mr. Creepypasta, I think.
Late into the night because neither of them were able to sleep. The conversation was reported normal for teenagers until Annie started hearing sounds in her backyard. David had tried to tell Annie not to look because she was home alone at her house. Annie had ignored his plea and looked at her window and claimed to see that a man, which she swore was David, in her yard digging a hole in the ground. David had replied that it was not him, since he was messaging her in his own house. Annie didn't believe him, since the man was wearing his jacket with his name on the back of it, which David swears is in his closet. The man had turned around and smiled at Annie and began walking towards her house. Annie, clearly terrified, ran into the closet and was armed with a knife. David had called the police and was on his way to Annie's house. As the man got closer, Annie told David that the stalker could be a figment of her imagination or some dream entity. She told David to stop thinking about her, and David, who was confused at first, agrees. Annie explained that the stalker had vanished and was extremely happy and grateful that David had showed strong feelings for her. She had asked David to come over tomorrow morning, and when David had asked if it really was Annie replying, she had appeared offline. The girl in the photograph. The girl in the photograph is a mysterious picture that claims the lives of victims. In the picture, she is described as beautiful, wearing a dress with tights on and red shoes. The photograph of her shows her making numbered signs, but these could be interpreted as hand gestures towards the camera. Anyone that touches the picture instantly wants to know more information about the girl in the photograph.
Okay.
The victim will ask around, demanding to know who she is, but will not get the results they are looking for. At night, it's been reported that giggling can trance the victim to dangerous locations, such as a road, rail track, or construction site. If the victim is killed, the photograph will change its hand gesture to show how many victims it has fooled.
Huh? Oh, it's the old one. Huh.
Twist ending.
Twist ending.
Twist ending is a story about a writer called David who would receive fan mail, which would include manuscripts of certain amateur writers. David would take these manuscripts and steal from these writers.
What just happened?
I don't know.
He would publish these stories
what just
for his
happened?
own success.
I don't know.
Who's that? Who's that?
Give these individuals any
Oh,
credit.
great.
Then proceed to blacklist them from getting any writing published.
You're the real
One
one.
instance details
Yeah,
a
I'm the
certain
real one.
manuscript that was sent to him.
That was a bootleg of me.
David enjoyed the script and guessed what the twist ending was before he could get there. The last few pages of the script were sealed together,
Totally
and
creepy.
it took some force to pull them
We're gonna
apart.
make give Planet some Mario's.
As he read through the script, he understood he was correct. But there was a final author's note, which detailed that the author had previously been sending David the manuscript, and David had not been giving the author credit for his story. Because of his actions, the author would never be able to publish his work, effectively ruining his life. As a final revenge, the author...
What? Huh.
Which one? Wake up.
Huh.
That some twist endings.
What?
You having a nightmare?
Maybe, I don't know. Wait, did I fall asleep?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was watching.
Oh, okay.
It's almost 30.
Yes,
nails.
finally, nails.
A report was filed to the police highlighting that a man had gone missing from Burnside apartment in room number 14. The man had claimed that he had heard scratching every night at 3 a.m. This was further backed up by residents
3
also
a.m.
hearing the noise
the
too.
devil's
The disappearance
hour.
of the man was being investigated by police, and when asked by the residents about the incident, a few had described a corpse-like creature with nails in its fingers, toes, shoulders, and neck. It would carry a bag in one hand and would walk very awkwardly, almost like a ghost. They seemed to think it was responsible for the scratching noise. The creature was not visible in human sight, but could only be seen on camera. The disappearing man had originally worked as a factory worker, stamping out cards. His colleagues, when questioned, said that there was nothing suspicious about him other than that he had complained about bad luck following him everywhere. To this day, there have been no signs of the creature or the man, but it could be theorized that the creature had attacked him and took him somewhere. The police have condemned the building, but was warned that at the hour of 3 a.m. is when the spirits become most active.
46.
Where's those stairs?
The thing that stalks the fields. This is the story of a farmer who noticed that the hay bales around his farm had been moved. He returned the bales to their proper places, thinking it was the work of pranksters. It happened again, and he moved them back again. He didn't move the bales back a third time after the next day. Something had come and decapitated his horses, and the heads were missing. That night, he saw something emerge from the woods near his home. He couldn't tell what it was. It walked on 4 legs. It was thin and had skin the color and texture of granite. It was over 10 feet tall, and it used the hay bales as markers, boundaries. It had claimed the farmer as a pet. After a few days, a stranger in a car approached the farmer's home, and the thing attacked the car, pulled the driver out, and crushed him in his arms. The message was clear. The farmer was the thing's captive, and was not allowed visitors. Nothing could cross the borders it had set.
45.
Out with the bang.
Out.
FBI cases have been reported frequently about an unexplained phenomenon called shattering. It's an ability in a human to make objects explode or shatter by pointing at them. One of these cases involved a young boy who played with his friend. They were playing a game called Cowboys and Indians, and one of them aimed at his friend with his index finger and fired by dropping his thumb like the hammer of a pistol and shouted bang. Instantly, the other kid died at the scene with half his head missing. The exact mechanism behind this exploding is unknown. Officials and the parents couldn't detail the exact cause of the act. No stray bullets were found, no guns were reported, and no one had really witnessed it besides the one child. 26 similar cases were reported by the officer. Years later, a similar incident happened in a park, where a young girl, brandishing a toy gun, had asked a stranger to put their hands up and pretend to shoot. She then asked the stranger to do the same in return. The girl was hit in the abdomen, but the stranger had fled the scene. A suicide note was left on a computer, which was tracked on forums. It explained that the person had an argument with their girlfriend, and he had pointed their finger at her, indicating that this was another case of the shattering phenomenon. They had pulled their index finger and fled the scene. He had planned on doing the same thing to himself.
No.
It was theorized that the power was rare, dangerous,
Let me go at the
and a
mirror.
wild card.
the Suicide King. Cards are filled with symbolism about history. The 4 kings are based on real historical kings. One of these in particular is the King of Hearts. This king is based off of Charles VII of France. His face was originally put on a card during his rule. During his reign, he became ill, and the condition became very serious. Out of boredom, Charles had developed a passion for playing cards. However, he became extremely paranoid about the number 13, and he claimed it was causing him bad luck. Eventually, Charles began hallucinating and dreaming about the number 13. He told his servants to leave his chamber. The servants grew very suspicious and contacted a doctor. Upon arrival, they entered his room only to find him standing with a large sword in hand. Charles then spoke and said, "They have showed me the truth of 13, and it is not meant for mortal eyes." And just like that, he thrust the sword into his head. After this, the picture of him on the cards was changed to show him committing suicide.
So you're not upside down. You must be imaginating.
Cave Children.
Cave Children.
It tells of an expedition to Pompeii in which 4 scientists investigate some unexplored caves. They're told stories about creatures known as cave children with translucent skin, 1 single eye, and 4 legs, similar to crabs. The first few paragraphs are normal. We see descriptions of lizards and the mysterious cave children, but further investigation reveals that when one is killed, it's not actually crustacean, but an upside-down hominid, similar to a human. What was thought to be an eye was actually a mouth. The so-called tail was in fact genitalia, and what was believed were wings were in fact their ribcage. In the notes, one of the scientists loses her mind and ends up sacrificing herself, but her fate is not left ambiguous.
Whoa.
She was raped and then killed. Afterwards, the last surviving scientist tries to patch himself up, escape, and finish taking the expedition.
Say rape and
Unbeknown
killed.
to him was the infection slowly turning him into one of the cave children. According to the testimony by Dr. Insadia, the rescuers spotted several of the creatures mentioned in the tapes during their second trip into the caves. On the 4th trip, when this tape was found, they opened fire on one which approached their party, scaring it away. They described this last as stouter than the others, and what it appeared to be bandages wrapped around its arms.
What?
Good thing.
He cried voice.
The crawl space. While studying abroad, a student finds an affordable apartment in Campo de Fiore in Rome. She and her friends find it furnished with laundry machines and a freestanding bathtub in one of the 2 bathrooms. They spend 2 months there well and happy. Then, on the 3rd month, one of them discovers a small secret crawl space. One night, the students hear shuffling coming from the crawl space. They believe it to just be a harmless animal was hiding in there. She was not so convinced. A few days later, she gets a camera, slides the door to the crawl space open, and tries to locate the source of the noise. She manages to capture a picture of a humanoid face with barred teeth in the shadows. But even with the evidence, she was unable to convince her roommates to leave the apartment. Weeks after she returned to America, she received word from
I'm
the
just
program director
over
that
here.
her friends had all gone missing.
The passenger. Police were called to attend an accident.
Oh, you
where
heard
a bus
of this?
driver had driven off the road. He remembered very little of what took place. The last thing he recalled was a woman paying her fare before passing out. There was no memory of driving the bus on the final leg of its journey, nor did he possess any knowledge of the hooded passenger who had smashed the driver's cabin. Ruby, who was riding the bus at the time, said she had witnessed a passenger sitting next to her, wearing a dark green hooded jacket, that even tried to attack her. She had not noticed the passenger get on the bus or even see them sit down next to her. She had just appeared there. She further went on to explain that the hooded passenger had turned
I
to
gotta
face
check
her
this
and
video
revealed
later
black eyes,
because I saw
a
something.
deformed mouth, and a cold, rattly breath. The hooded passenger had touched her, and Ruby had proclaimed it felt like ice. She had said that when the bus had crashed and the driver was knocked out, and the passenger had tried to attack her, She had managed to escape the bus, however, by finding the release button for the doors. The police found no evidence of the passenger. It was as if the hooded figure had vanished without a trace. Police had found 2 words scratched onto the seat, reading, "Not yet." Whether this was made by the hooded passenger is a mystery.
40.
Oh, yeah, it's almost there.
Yep. Just,
A couple spends
Arizona.
the day traveling the road to visit some friends.
Ooh.
When they decide to enter a gas
Is
station in
Arizona even a drink?
The gas station appears old, abandoned, and eerie.
I see a bunny.
The girl fills up the car, while the guy enters the abandoned shop.
Oh, okay.
He hears a wailing noise in the basement and decides to investigate. He discovers that the basement is flooded, and upon closer inspection, finds a huddled figure as dark as a shadow. When he touches the shoulder of the figure, it spins around and reveals a demonic face before charging at him. He quickly escapes the building and dashes for the car. They both
The guy has an open mouth.
his horrifying experience. He quickly comes to realize that she has also seen 2 figures. A small girl with a horrifying smile, and a father with staring eyes and a wide jaw. The couple, getting wary, decide to park for the night near an abandoned campsite. Just as they are about to sleep, they spot the humanoid girl. They quickly drive off and notice the same gas station they had just passed earlier. But this time, all the lights were on, and the door was sliding open. Further and further they drove, with entities following them. They eventually reach their house and barricade themselves in, ignoring the voices and bangs from around them. Every new noise they hear in the house, they barricade the room. Every time they contacted help, they were just greeted to whispering on the other end. As the figures loom in the window,
What's this weird laugh though?
the couples wondering if they would ever escape the horror.
Just 9 more. Now it's 8 more. Till 30.
Thumps.
Trumps.
This is a creepy story which details a man and a woman both waking up in a
Trumps.
room together. They're both confused as to what's happening. Then they begin hearing
We got drums in this too.
The man begins to have violent images flash through his mind, and overcome with the flashes, they both pass out. However, when they wake up, they find food waiting for them. This cycle keeps on continuing and continuing, and the relationship between a man and a woman progresses to the point of them becoming lovers. The thumps and the flashes intensify, and they both welcome the noises and the flashes almost like an addiction to them. The flashes increase, and they both begin to go
Donald Trump.
His lover commits suicide, and he is left alone. Without the noises and the thumps,
he
he begins to
I think so.
insane and falls unconscious. He eventually wakes up, but not in the usual place. The story ends with the man being found outside, running towards town.
38. 7 more.
Yes.
Stay in bed. Forced out of his regular hotel by an influx
Bunk
of
bed.
attendees to
And
a
I'm
car
staying
show,
in the bed.
the narrator booked
I'm gonna go on to bed.
to stay in a
You're early in the bed.
around the Nevada-Arizona border.
I'm gonna get up on the
about
bed.
20 miles
Why?
south of Las
I
Vegas.
don't know.
Nothing
Let's see
was
if it
really
happens.
amiss when the cheerful clerk checked him in and gave him
okay.
his room key. She warned him that he
I'm
must
off
stay
the
in
bed.
after midnight.
Oh.
Chuckling, the narrator agreed.
Nothing
The
happens.
room was described as shabby, with old-fashioned electronics.
I'm hardly
He
off
had
the bed.
witnessed some sort
Me
of
too.
figure
Ow.
with a static
I know
TV
on the
screen
floor.
walking towards him.
Nothing's actually
After
happening,
unplugging the set
actually.
and making sure the TV faced the wall,
Only
Okay,
on.
Bonnie, come.
he was awoken late
Come now.
into the night by
Okay,
disturbing
I think
groaning
that only
sounds
happens
coming
at
from the
midnight.
outside.
Huh.
Ignoring the warning from the clerk, He decided to investigate. Looking through the peephole of his room, he saw a young woman, clearly in some kind of trouble, in the parking lot beyond. When he tried to open the door jammed. When he looked through again, he saw nothing but red. The door had banged, but there was no one on the other side.
I think that the person that seen red on the door was just a strawberry jam.
And that he must stay in bed. She explained that the motel is still haunted by the terrifying ghost of a murdered victim who roams the premises after midnight
a jam ghost
who sees it into the lake. A newspaper clipping in the lobby offers the narrator another glimpse into the
strawberry jam.
The stay in. A fourth killing is reported. It's only then that he
About great
realizes
jam
the
ghost.
legs of the cheerful clerk are not entirely where they should be.
Green jam. 37, just 6 more. And then finally end of the video.
Doors.
Doors.
Was adopted into a loving family. His mother was kind and would let him watch TV with her, and his father was strict and would often discipline him, such as the restroom incident. No matter what the narrator did, it seemed that the father would always favor their own child more. His sibling was really young, and when he was adopted,
my
they
new
got
story,
along together. In fact, they became best friends. Because of the lack of bedrooms, he would have to sleep in the same room as her. But on the floor,
I don't want to see the same
one night, he realizes a killer has broken into the house. The narrator is clearly terrified of the ordeal and is a witness to the gruesome murders that unfold.
That's a dog holding the camera.
Startled by him, and he grins with a yellow toothy smile. As the killer wanders the place with a razor, he takes a hold of one of the family members that mean oh so much to him and disappears behind a door. As the narrator makes as much noise as possible to try and alert everyone for help, he realizes that he can't give chase. Sadly, he starts whimpering, only to look down at his own paws.
Oh. Just 5 more?
Yeah.
Happy Sun Daycare.
Happy Sun Daycare.
Happy Sun Daycare centers around a daycare which had been abandoned for several years.
Oh,
When a reporter from
those
an online
boring
news blog
books.
decides to interview former employees and students that attended Happy Sun Daycare, he soon discovers some very dark secrets about it. One of the discoveries was children screaming from seeing things, and bites and scratches appearing on their arms and legs. It was thought to be a stray canine, but caretakers had claimed that no pets were allowed in the vicinity, and that traps were set around the building to prevent wildlife from entering. It was later revealed that misbehaved children were sent to the door. This room contained a giant ugly dog which would attack and viciously harm the children that were sent there. Children were coming out of the room scared, scratched, bitten, and being violently ill. One staff member was a janitor that had managed to get a job at this daycare because his aunt was in charge of one of the head offices. The janitor had explained that he had some form of narcolepsy since he was a teenager and a history of sleepwalking as well. Doctors couldn't figure out what was causing his condition, but they couldn't find any other adverse health effects.
These kids were
gangsters. That his aunt would mix him a special herbal tea for him. They
sprayed on walls.
He stated that the children were generally nice to him, but the employees sensed uneasiness around him. They seemed extremely cautious around him. When asked about any dogs or animals in the building, he pointed out that animals were never allowed in the premises because of allergies. Strangely, he pointed out that he would waken in the gray room when he neglected to take his tea. He wasn't sure if anybody had simply moved him there so he could sleep without being in anyone's way, or if he had been sleepwalking again. In his opinion, the janitor thought that the dog was simply a carrier wearing a costume, terrorizing any children sent into the room as a means of instilling fear of punishment into their minds.
You want to see that hideous dog?
35.
4 more?
Yes.
Through the Trees.
Through the Trees.
On September 15th, 1983, a famous tale was told about a mysterious creature called the Seed Eater. It was described as a bird-human creature that roams forests, stalking children.
Oh yeah, that creepypasta that eats children, but not the adults.
Around the same time, 2 weeks later, he heard tapping on his window. The seed eater had apparently spoken to the man, asking for children to devour. Once its wish was granted, the seed eater eventually ate him. The seed eater is believed to force men to kill and store children for it to eat, and will eventually eat them. As it states, the children aren't doing the trick anymore. The seed eater is found in many places across the world, like China, New York, Turkey, and New Jersey. The creature goes on a hunt.
Turkey!
It's
a black bear.
It sometimes, although extremely rarely,
It's just a black
attack
bear.
adults as well.
34.
3 more.
Now let's see what's this.
Satellite images.
Satellite
Google Earth and Google
imagers.
Street View reveals some incredible things. It's been uncovering a new dimension of reality since it came online.
India.
One user had experienced the world through browsing Google Maps, seeing places such as London, Paris, Japan, and going on virtual tours. But then, he began spotting something in particular. A brown-haired woman with a gray bag and red sneakers. He sees her in Tokyo first, then in Paris, then Berlin. On another day, he sees the mysterious woman again in Sydney, Zurich, and Hong Kong. Each time he visits different places in the world and reverts back, she appears to be doing something different. From standing
It's the new Donkey Kong family, Hong Kong.
That's Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, the new character for Donkey Kong Country.
Other than her attire, as the faces on Google Maps
Why is this girl is everywhere?
He visits
There's
his
homes.
hometown, and
I don't know.
worryingly, she is seen standing in the park, looking at the camera. Terrified by the strange, seemingly ever-present woman, he exits out of Google Maps altogether, vowing never to use the tool again. That's when a knock at his door comes,
What about
and the security
no
camera
report?
feed shows a woman with a gray bag and red sneakers staring directly at the camera with a blurred face.
With a block face?
The woman in the oven. How did she fit herself in the oven?
In a quiet town near Minneapolis,
And
Minnesota,
only kids.
the charred body of a woman was found inside the kitchen stove of a small
Long time ago, I fit myself
Video
in
camera
a
was
washing
also found in
machine.
the kitchen, standing on a tripod, pointing at the oven.
Wow,
No
really?
tape was found
Yes,
inside
and
of
I
the camera
posed
at the
myself,
time.
and I played my BS in there,
Although the
so I
scene
can
was
hide from
originally
school.
labeled a homicide by
You got from
police,
school?
an
Yes,
unmarked
that was a long
VHS
time
tape
ago.
was later discovered at the bottom of the farm's
In my
well,
old
which
house,
had apparently dried
or
up
a
earlier
bunch of
that year.
clothes.
It showed the woman coming into the shot, setting the oven, climbing inside, and then closing the door after herself. After some time, violent banging and shrieking happens inside the oven, and smoke begins to emerge. But analysis of the woman in the video and the woman discovered in the oven concludes that they are two completely different people.
It's kind of two more, I guess. Or it's still three
The
more.
narrator of Anomaly is an average guy working at a small publishing company, holding down an office job that's likable enough. The projects he gets are pretty normal, turning out the sorts of books that people buy,
Unlimited
gifts, and coffee
papers.
tables. That's until he
They'll
gets a
never
pitch
run
from
out of
someone
paper.
with a series of photos he wants
What is
compiled
paper
into a
made out
rather
of?
non-traditional
They're made
volume.
out of
All of the
poop
photos
toilet
are
papers.
anomalies, showing something otherworldly.
They're made
or
of
unexplained.
wood.
The
They're
photos
made
are
out
so
of wood.
valuable, in fact, that rather than sending them all to be processed, the
Post
client
it.
insists on sending them one at
Post
a
it
time.
where?
When one comes back,
Maybe I'll
he
post it
sends
at
the next.
Facebook.
When he gets a better offer from someone wanting
Come
to buy all
on.
the photos, the
I guess
project is terminated.
I'm just gonna
Lawyers get involved.
put. I'm
Copies are
just gonna
seized, and
put
most of the
this
photos
book
are
in my
wiped from their
face.
computers, with the
Like
exception of a
Facebook?
few,
Yes.
which the narrator explains has
Okay.
to be seen to
There's a
believe.
face
The
on a book,
photographs in their
and there you
stories are
go.
chilling.
Facebook.
There's a blurry photo of children taken before a 1908 fire had killed them all.
And Twitter, just put that bird from Looney Tunes in. There you go. Twitter.
A possible image of the Axeman in New Orleans,
And
evidence of the
That's what
cave-dwelling
they're
cryptids,
tweeting.
of a Danish family later killed in a terrible accident, and more. There are 14 photos in all, and it's not immediately obvious what's out of the ordinary, which makes Anomaly all the more creepy.
What?
just 2 more.
You mean 1?
Just 1 more.
The keyhole.
The keyhole.
This legend
That horror
involves a
movie?
man who checked into a hotel
Maybe.
for a few nights.
The butthole.
After he obtained his room
The
key,
keyhole.
the woman at the
TV
front desk
hole.
informed him
The window
that there
hole.
was a door with no number on
And the
way to
house
his
hole.
room. She explained that the locked room was
Hi,
used
Mario.
for storage.
Houston, how
She also wanted
cold?
him not to go into the room
Huh.
or even
Okay,
look
Mario.
inside. The man, although intrigued, went straight to his room without asking any more questions. But by the second night, his curiosity had got the better of him. He tried turning the doorknob, but found it
Is
to
this
be
like a
locked,
game or something?
just as the woman had claimed. Not to be deterred easily,
Is this like a game or
the man
something?
proceeded to peep through the
You used
keyhole.
a video game.
Beyond the door was what looked like a normal hotel room, exactly like his own.
Oh.
However, in the corner stood a very pale woman, with her head resting against the wall
H1?
opposite the door. On the third day,
H1.
the man decided to look
H1?
through the keyhole again.
Ah!
This time,
What?
all he saw was the color red.
Watch the last one.
Nothing else.
No.
Just a constant
Okay.
shade of red. Maybe the woman had suspected that someone was spying on her and had blocked it with something. The man decided that he would ask the woman at the front desk. She asked if the man had looked through the keyhole. After he had confirmed that he had, the woman proceeded to tell him the whole story. Many years ago, she said, a man had murdered his wife in that very room, and her ghost now haunts it. Her ghost is said to be very pale,
I hear creepy
except for her
noises.
eyes, which are bloodshot red.
What's that happen? Continue. I'm supposed to do. I just said.
Hello there.
Where? What's that?